Yeah, that's mine, and that's verbatim from what I received from the phone call with. Let's see, where's mine?
I was looking for the director to back up the situation, they say no. They may not even know that the commission can talk to. So why would
You know, I've heard that now, I have heard some information from our attorney on the commission peace officer, and she's not 100% sure. So she has to do some research into that, and I haven't gone back. That it is what you say it is. I asked her, and I haven't gotten back to her because she's really tied up in court law right now. She's seen that. So, well, that's a new one? Okay. I thought you were talking about the old letter. Okay, well, I'm just telling you what I know. Okay, so all this information that I provided was on questions from Councilmember Garberding and the information I got from...
Well, these were the questions that were addressed at the council meeting.
Right, that's right.
And
the one about,
and right now, like Vic just said, they're being presented as fact, and they're not. I'm just really...
You know, honestly, these should not have been in this meeting. Agenda tonight, I didn't catch them when you sent it to me.
What shouldn't have been in this meeting?
These questions and answers, because it's really not...
These are all questions that the council, just a minute.
I know,
These are all questions that the council asked me to bring to the meeting.
Okay. What I'm
So
saying...
these questions should be here.
Well, if you're changing the position simply because you feel like he's not consulting enough...
No, these were questions that they asked and they wanted answers
I
on.
know, I'm telling you what I'm
I
thinking.
mean, if they asked me to bring back to here, where does the Easter Bunny come from, it's not my decision to bring back the questions that I choose. I used to bring back the questions that they asked.
What I'm saying, I'm not saying this is your fault or anything.
No, I'm not saying it's my fault. I just feel that I have been given some misinformation to deal with. And
Right now, we're not sure what the misinformation is, though.
okay.
So that has to be verified, and that's...
Yeah, I'm going to... That's an attorney. And I'm not sure, is it Sophia maybe the one I should talk to, or is it the other attorney I should talk to?
No,
Which one?
Sophia maybe.
It's Sophia,
She's
okay.
the person one that works with Carol. She doesn't work for Carol, she's...
Okay, so...
She's our personnel attorney.
Yes.
Right, okay, so we've gotten through the clarification. I think the question and answers from the workshop, we just did that.
Yes.
So, were there any more comments on either of those two items?
I have one quick comment.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, now you're talking about going to attorneys and talking to attorneys and running up attorney expenses and so forth to clarify, because you can't understand what the questions and answers is here. Well, these questions and answers here and whatever wouldn't even be here if you just leave the job description alone the way it is. You wouldn't have to be talking to an attorney about that.
I understand that, but it was also the council, not just the mayor. The mayor brought it up to council, and it was brought into here. So I think if anything, we need to take it back to workshop and let the council decide on whether or not they want to.
Well, the whole idea of forwarding it to this committee is for us to find the answers.
Exactly.
And so rather than the answers being given to us, well, it's a work group. And so in order, I mean, if research has to be done, the research should be done by our committee members and get these answers instead of having them provided to us. And then I think this alleviates some of these issues. I mean, that's why I called MRSC direct, so that I didn't have to have a third party try to relay what they had to say.
Well, the attorney said she was gonna get back on that with them, and she was going to give us our answers. Do you know when she'll be coming back with those answers?
No, I don't think it'll be till next year. I mean,
next year.
January. Because I've tried to work with her on union negotiation stuff, and on some other code I was putting together, and 2 minutes ago, she's a little excited, and she said, I asked her if I could use Carol in a place to give Carol the information that she needs to bring forward, and she can do that. So she's not free until, and then she's on vacation about the same time I am for the rest of the year. So she won't be free until, I think, early January. However, and some of those questions do relate to her expertise, and some of them do not. Okay, some of them are applying some extent. And some of them we have to look at the job description and maybe change it, and that's to make it better for the police chief who goes along with that. So that the insurance company will not say, you can't do that, because now it's in the job description, and it's also part of it being the chief. So that part I do know, and I have talked to the insurance company, and they do know a few things, I mean, the risk company. They do know, they're not just spouting off the top of their head, they're talking about the position, not the man.
Here's my question, we sent them the job description of the public safety director, did we send them the job description of the police chief as we have it?
Yes.
And so what did they say about the police chief being able to perform the duties under the current job
We
description?
didn't, I don't know that we,
Fine.
that's not sure. I
Something
just
that we would need an answer to.
Right. I think Leanne looked at having more robust job description, so that it could take into account, so there wouldn't be any questions. That's the problem right now, we have questions, and we don't have enough concrete answers. Even the, insurance company will not give us, well, what happens in this case? Because that was what Leanne wanted to get to. She said, you told us we need to do certain things in our city so that we can get our rate lowered. And it didn't happen this year, and so our rate went up. But it's not only due to that, it's due also to the fact we hired more staff.
Right.
And they had the hours wrong the first year, so they had to adjust that up. So I found that out just recently. So we'll get the best answers we can get. But I don't want to sit on this forever. I want to either get it out of here and get it done, or for everybody's sake, because then it just becomes, you're right, it's a big deal right now. We need to make it a little deal.
Right, I mean, I'm at the point where I'm, as the person who brought it up, if I don't see a significant cost savings to the city, let's just leave it as is and address it, when a vacancy occurs.
So I think the main answers would be, if we address this, do we have a cost savings at all? And I would ask RMFA that. So cost savings needs to be addressed.
The only thing I can see right now, addressing this is nothing but expenses, there's no cost benefit to it.
We have, like Katie said, that we do have to answer questions that the council sent back to us, so.
Exactly.
That's what I
We
did.
have to answer the questions that the council sent into here, which, yes, I'm sorry, I don't feel that they've been answered.
Katie, I think if you're gonna talk to somebody, and Rich, whoever's talking, lays it out black and white. I know that,
Oh, is this your accreditation?
or you could explain the entire commission.
There's one for Rick.
Then is that what your question's from?
Pardon me? I'm saying,
One thing I'd like to say for the record is that this isn't the first time this topic's come up. It came up in 2007 or 2009, I can't remember.
I said right up too.
Okay, but it was brought up, I believe, in emails by Mayor Hildreth, just to do an administrative change of title, and then it was tabled for whatever reason.
I think it was also brought up another time by, I think who did it?
Looking at the paperwork, it all coincides with when the
I think Ken
RFA,
Walker brought it up before.
when the RFA was formed and City of Pacific Fire got absorbed into the RFA.
Correct.
So, which would make sense, that's when you bring it up.
Well, I think we're down to two questions right now. One is the cost savings, and the other one is the ordinance, and for the position. So if one, it sounds like for Councilmember Kay, that if we do have, if the RMFA says, yes, there would be cost savings if you had the police chief and the job description was this, that we would have more liability to support you if the case comes up, and we'd also give you a cut or a price break. Then you'd say the number two part is, yes, then we need to have Sophia talk about the ordinance to see how it's gonna work. Because you guys want to, obviously, you're saying, you wanna keep the officer in place, I mean, the chief in place. That's where it gets a little messy, because that's not your purview. Unfortunately, it elected, and so it is your purview, is whether you pass the ordinance, but that's kind of where it ends.
Well, it's our purview whether we want to fund a lawsuit, a defense for a lawsuit.
Right.
Because we're violating civil service rules.
We don't wanna do that, we're not gonna
As
let it.
an obligation to the citizens of the city and our community, that's where we can step in and say the mayor's overstepping his bounds.
Well, and I think in this case, the attorney, when she put together the ordinance, she made sure that it didn't overstep any bounds of the civil service. That I can speak to positively,
Well,
because she has all those in front of us, those rules.
excuse me just a minute here, but, you know, now all of a sudden we're taking power plays and the power line and whatever. You know, I wanna get into that deal, I mean, we appointed, the mayor's position right now is appointed position, the council could unappoint her tomorrow. So, I mean, we can get all kinds of power plays, whatever. I'm not concerned about power play, I'm concerned about what is the best for the city and so, and believe it or not, one way or another, the council can have power.
Well, it's not about that, I'm not
I
saying
know
that.
that, I
I'm
know
about
that,
state law. Right.
but there's just, that statement is
I know.
keep being made, "Oh, that's not your job, you can't do that." Well, we need to work together, we
Right.
don't need to fight and argue
Right.
about who's got power and what.
Right.
This
We
is
wanna
a-
get into
I'm
that,
sorry if you
I've
took it
been in
that
this
way.
city a long time.
I know.
And believe me, I will get power.
Okay.
we're-
I
I
wasn't,
can fill that gym if it needed,
it wasn't about power,
I'm just saying.
I know.
It didn't come across that way.
sorry. But, yeah, and, I mean, from my experience, you know, it was sent back to the committee because some questions were asked in the council chamber. And once those questions are answered, then we take it back and then the discussion ends one way or another.
Right,
That's the way I looked at it.
and at this point, they're not answered.
Okay.
Well,
So I'll
they
get
kind of
together
are
with you.
answered because we've got the information available to us. We can answer
Right.
them right now, based on the information.
Okay, so if you can, then why don't you bring it back to the council, and then we go.
I think this needs to go back to council for a full group discussion and a workshop.
Right.
I really do.
But we should have answers to these
We
questions
will.
based on this information that we have. I mean, like we said, we
I want your
just,
full packet back.
John corrected, you know, some of those statements. And his documentation supports those corrections.
Okay, does anybody have anything else to say on these two subjects?
No.
Okay, we only have one item agenda left because Stacy did not, she had on here that she wanted the, crosswalk pedestrian signs, but she didn't get those to me in time to get them to everybody. So right now, we go to the last two pages, and John, you had sent me an email about, you know, wanting to be prepared. This was just brought up, she wanted to discuss, to find out what kind of crisis intervention that the city has.
Training,
What?
crisis
Yes.
intervention training.
Yes.
Mark, here, I don't know what you're referring to, but everybody's been through some crisis intervention. However, there's a class available because she wrote this, we're going to do it today,
Who wrote it?
you know, when I got this.
Oh, okay. Right.
I'll give you all their, they now offer classes like every 3 months or something that deal in crisis intervention, and I just got you guys the next one anyway, because we will get, even though we've had it, we will get updated, we'll get it,
Is this something that the city has their officers do on a regular basis, or how does it?
just like all the rest of our training, when classes come up, depends on, sometimes once a year, sometimes every month, but that's where it's based upon, and we have the manning and the staffing to do it, most times we don't.
Can I ask Officer Gill a question?
Sure.
Have you taken any of these crisis management classes?
I have been trained in crisis management, crisis intervention as part of the regular the LEA curriculum, the Basic Law Enforcement Academy.
Do
That's
you-
part of our basic training.
Right, but do you take any continuing,
I have not had the
Courses?
opportunity to do that, no.
is it you haven't had the opportunity or you don't feel you've had the need?
There's only limited availability to take any kind of training, and for the most part, there's other priorities. I already have the basic knowledge of crisis intervention, because that's something we do on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
The training on the street, by doing it.
No, but
So
I
haven't
think
had a
what
specific
she was
class.
referring to was for the officer himself, not for, helping, I don't know if I'm gonna say this right.
There's, as far as I know right now, if I can continue
For your
that,
own mental
there's no
health,
specific requirement
right?
to have ongoing training
If it
in
was offered
crisis
to you,
intervention.
if it was offered to you?
Yeah, of course, I'm always available.
Okay, there
I always
are,
want to take more training.
there are courses that are available that, Stacy has talked to me about that I think might be beneficial to all of the officers to be able to take it, where they come in and if, need be the I believe she said that, the courses, will allow, for the officers to take the courses and they will be paid for it if it's on their time off. I believe that's what she said. They're offered through the state.
Yes, she told me
Yes.
that today too.
Exactly, and they also provide a meal, just things to help the officers, because, it's a stressful job, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and we want to make sure that, they're taken care of.
Yeah, I handle it this way. I'm going to take the officer called, our training requirement. If you look at all that, we train all the time. And
Well, I just think it's a
Free.
great idea. One of the things that they would say in the military on a Friday night when they dismissed the troop was, don't beat your wife, don't shake your baby, and, don't get drunk. And those are direct orders. You can't do them, you get thrown in the brig. You can't do that. But they go home and, it's a stressful job, regardless.
we deal with that. There's a lot of training we deal with that. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yesterday.
They sent 7 people to an 8-hour class that dealt in, I don't know, price management.
Risk management and leadership techniques.
Okay, do you feel that they need more? And I just want to make sure that they're being accommodated and provided for.
I'm satisfied, but I'm willing to, as these classes come up, play a role to you guys this time.
Do you have like Leanne has in her hallway, a suggestion box where she has one in her hallway?
You get the police part.
Yeah. Do you have something like that? Maybe have the officers write down, I don't know if these are things that they wouldn't, publicly state or whatnot, if they needed, to where they can make, or just flat make suggestions of what they feel that they would, yeah.
Can I answer that for you?
Absolutely, please do.
If you don't mind?
I don't.
We have the ability to look at the training that's offered by the state.
Yeah?
Every day, get online, we can look and see what's offered, and if we see a class that we want to take,
Do you
and
tell
we
him?
think it's reasonable, we request it.
You do? You do
Yeah,
that
every
already?
time, yeah.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
required to take a minimum of 20 in-service training hours a year, and we don't always get that just from the basic stuff we do here within the department or the coalition.
Okay,
So
so
we're
you're
always
doing
taking
it, you're
classes.
utilizing
Yeah.
it, you're getting what you need.
Right.
That's all the time.
Okay. I had no idea. And when Stacy brought this up, I thought that was a really good, thing to find out and be sure on. I'm sorry?
I appreciate her bringing it up.
Yeah.
It's free.
Sorry?
I think the training was free and reimbursed in overtime.
Exactly.
Gets
Exactly.
reimbursed if you need to pull in somebody.
Okay, cool.
Another thing is, try to appreciate getting our officers trained as the best possible training that we can have and everything else. But this is the real plus about the coalition. So if we have a real crisis, we have the coalition officers
Right.
that can come in, that some cases may have more training and expertise in a specific field, like a hostage field or something, better than our officers do. So, I mean, we have highly trained personnel available in case
Right.
of a crisis
But I
out
think
there.
Stacy's main focus when she talked to me was to make sure that the officers have their own mental
And this is why I
stability
think,
for all
I
that they
understand
have
you've read that,
to
but
deal with.
I think that's what drove her to that article.
Yeah, she had told me about
That's what
this,
I
but
thought.
didn't send it to me.
Yeah, I just got it today.
So, I had a question, John. In the fire department, if we have a major incident that could be emotional or mental attacks, and we have access to the critical incident stress debriefing program, I'm assuming you're part of the same process.
Every time Josh Hall, when he got next to you,
Right.
went to the county and the captain, they had to see him, it does exactly that.
Critical and stress.
Okay.
And, yeah, we do it on every incident. Not something
Anything.
substantial.
Sure, you're right, that could be possibly traumatic. Okay.
And then the other thing I see here is de-escalation training based on what's been in the news lately. You know, I feel comfortable with, you know, the first couple of meetings I attended here where John went over some of the policies, what they do. But I guess just to be able to answer Councilmember Oliveira's questions, what are we doing for de-escalation training to prevent what's been in the news lately to ensure that officers are protecting themselves, but at the same time protecting the public and not unnecessarily.
That is bias policing.
Right.
That's what, I'm sorry?
It's bias policing. That's what coalition is about. And our coalition is set up, we are doing that. Everybody's concerned about that. That's never happened, you know, locally, but we are being prepared for it. The officers are gonna get trained just on that. Things in progress.
Keep changing the subject or anything else, they just say we've had nothing happen here now, but we don't know what the fallout is going to be now of them fighting those firemen that beat the man up because he was sleeping on the statue or whatever, not guilty. I mean, everything Seattle's all stirred up about something right now and everything else. Here's something that might just throw another log on the fire. I don't know. So that, something like that could start. I don't ever
We're far
foresee
enough
it
from
happening in
Seattle,
our
but yet we're
town,
close
but I
enough
mean,
that it could happen at home.
Roger, what class that I just said you do?
It's what you were just talking about, bias policing, fair and impartial policing.
And then Roger, we have 7 coalition officers going to that. And, there's kids train the trainer class. So when those 7 get out, and the coalition groups, they would train our people in the same thing.
Okay. And the last, like I said, was because she didn't get it to me by Friday, so. Is there anything else that anybody would like to discuss?
We never talked about that unmarked cars. You brought that up, remember? I don't know if we talked about it, but that was one of the.
Okay, why don't you go ahead, since you brought it up.
I said I know it's legal.
we don't have it.
It's legal, if you want it.
Yeah, we got an RCW that we researched when I heard about it, and
Is that it? Can I have this?
basically it says this section shall not apply to vehicles of the sheriff's office, local police department, or any vehicles used by local peace officers under public authority for special undercover or confidential investigative purposes. So that's on the unmarked issue.
I had that, probably 2 months
But this is only if it's being used for undercover or confidential investigative purposes. No? Explain it to me then.
I had it explained to me by state patrol captains, administrators. I'm sorry,
These are just, it's publicly owned vehicles that are unmarked. They have to be marked. So our city vehicles that Public Works uses has to be marked. They can't be unmarked vehicles. The exception applies to sheriff's office and local police departments or vehicles used by local peace officers under public
Gotcha,
authority for
okay,
special
I didn't
undercover.
see the or, okay.
yeah, I thought it was pretty clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an RCW that's designed to address all vehicles in the public arena, and then the exception is allowed for police officers who are doing free foot.
And then there's another gray area stipulation, is what is term unmarked. I mean, you get a car because there's no city of specific police on it or something else, yet it's got a number 12 number painted right on the top of it, and it's got an exact plate. I mean, so it's still identified as,
Right, I think she was saying visibly marked as in wording on the doors.
you know,
Well, I know you don't have to do that.
But Public Works does it, Parks does it.
Right, so, I'm wondering, do we take this back to workshop and discuss it, or do we research it some more?
I think we'll be in that work, but if you want to give that to her, that explains it.
I'm going to contact Sophia maybe on these certain questions that we needed answers for, that are being challenged, and have her,
Well, one of the questions needs to be our current job description for the police chief.
can I just come at work for my bag? I'm sorry, it's what?
So when she's answering some of these questions, look at it in perspective of what our current job description in civil service already reads for the chief of police position. 'Cause I think she's made a lot of these decisions based on the presumption that we're
Well, we don't
changing
have
the
a,
job
we
description.
don't have a current,
Yes, we do.
description for chief of police.
That's what I gave you.
Oh, okay.
I think it was dated 2009.
The other thing is that the state doesn't change the job description, only civil service.
Right.
And that's up to them if they want to change it.
The public safety director position was either written or updated January 1 of 2007. And the chief of police was either updated or written on October 1st of 2009.
All right, I will give an email written up now. Richard, you said she's gone when?
So I would say, you can still reach her by email. She just can't
Oh, okay.
come out to the city, she can't come to
Okay,
meetings.
I will send her an email. Well, I don't know if she's gonna be answering this type of a thing on her vacation.
Well, that isn't, she isn't on vacation until, the end of next week. I'm pretty sure. I've got an email into her and I haven't heard back from her yet.
I've got a copy of
So,
your
I don't know. I know she's in court a lot.
congratulations from
So she gets
the
like,
police academy.
That was 1976.
I know. That's one of the things, yeah, that's one of the things that it does state, you know, it's been certified by academy, I mean, you've got academy training, so it'd be nice to have that documentation. I know you have it, I know you did it. The city of Auburn wouldn't have hired you if you didn't have it, so, did you lateral into that position?
I'll try to give it to the training commission. Did you want?
Well, are you done?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
I have issue about the crosswalk on, geez, I can't even think of it.
Homer, Milwaukee's what you told me.
Yeah, Homer in Milwaukee.
Can you again, I'm sorry.
It has to be restriped, and it'd be nice if it was reflective. Anyway, I'd appreciate if you made a note of it in your records tonight, and I'll bring it up to public safety tomorrow night, because they'll probably be doing.
Public Works?
Public Works.
Yeah, that's land.
But, that's actually a concern both of you, because this is a safety issue.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, you want it restriped and reflective?
Preferably, please, because it's a
Do
bus
we have
stop.
reflective now?
No, it's just painted and it's very,
No,
very faded.
anywhere in the city do we have reflective?
Yes, all these new ones that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
okay.
But it's also a bus stop, and then the children going back and forth to school, particularly in the morning, might reflective would be nice also, but, and it's, a designated crosswalk because the curbing is dished out as it's supposed to be for handicap,
Right,
so, it's not it's just gotta be redone. The
Yeah.
work to make it legal for wheelchairs and stuff's already there.
the restriping for crosswalks, is that something we do, or do we have to hire out?
That's hire it out, but I don't know, I have to get with Lance, we got a situation, I think, where our money, but I don't know what the
Well,
next
that's
year
a
will
big
bring,
safety
'cause I
issue,
think we
especially
do.
if it's at a bus stop.
But in case of an emergency, so, I'll bring it up tomorrow night, and, because we still have the issue of, painting the, yellow stripes in front of the fire station. So, because we can't put the crosswalk in there,
Right,
but we can legally stripe it because of the fire engines.
Put that in the record, so. It's about that crosswalk.
absolutely.
And I'll do one for,
Actually, I'll just make a photocopy and we can get it printed.
I've got one sitting on my desk at home for him tomorrow.
Oh, okay, okay.
All right.
Can you scan this in, and get a copy to,
Sure.
I guess, Clint and Lance?
Well, I'll bring one for Clint.
You're going to bring one, okay, so where do you want me to put this? It'd be nice.
Just so it's documented on the, public record, where I wanna go with that.
So you'll take it back to council, and deal with the same thing
Right.
if you think that's
Okay,
right.
Yeah, but as long as the world knows about it,
Right.
it might get done.